Well, next week the International Whaling Commission seriously gets underway in Morocco, where Japanese officials will push for an end to the 24-year moratorium on commercial whaling. For years there have been rumours that Japan has effectively bought votes through aid for poor countries to support their whaling activities. Now there appears to be some further evidence. The Sunday Times in London has run a sting operation to attempt to unravel links between the Japanese and some of the poorer countries that support their efforts to open up whaling. Undercover reporters posed as representatives of a billionaire conservationist who was willing to, in effect, buy the votes of those countries to change from pro to anti-whaling. Europe correspondent Philip Williams spoke to one of the reporters involved, Jonathan Calvert, who requested his face not be shown on television.
The sting was simple. Approach officials from 6 poor countries that receive aid from Japan and then vote with them at the IWC. Then pretend to negotiate to change that vote and in the process try and reveal how the Japanese operate.
It really makes a mockery of the process because it's not about whaling, it's entirely about different countries getting benefit out of voting for Japan and whaling. This is Ibrahima Silla, who's the National Director of Fisheries for the Republic of Guinea. He was the person who was telling us that at IWC meetings, all his delegation get paid for their hotels, their trips, but on top of that, they get $300 a day spending money. Now the minister, because he's much more important and makes decisions, gets $1,000 in spending money, which, as I was saying earlier, is the same as the average wage for a year in the Republic of Guinea.
Discretion.
Yes.
Yes. Good discretion. So sometimes they give me for minister.
Yes.
To me.
And then you give to the minister.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
No straight to minister.
No. Why not? Because they.
You know, minister is a political man too.
So they don't want it to seem like they're corrupting the minister.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
This next clip shows the Deputy Director of the Kiribati Ministry of Fisheries, Michael Booty.
Do they normally just give you some money?
No, they book for the ticket. Send the e-ticket. And then on arrival they give the allowance on the living costs and they pay for the hotel. That's what
So when you arrive, we just give you cash. Is that what Japan normally does?
Yeah, and the conference.
Oh, so at the we give you the money at the beginning of the conference?
Yeah, like in the registration desk, and then they have a separate meeting by signing the documents and issue something like that. And then the ticket, the hotel is prepaid for. So they calculate like the cost of the ticket and the money that they should have to buy lunch or something like that.
And presumably they do that for other countries as well, do they?
They do.
Which ones, do you know?
Most of the Pacific Islands. They do that for most of the
And what about this lady here? What can you tell us about her?
This is Doreen de Bruyn, who was the fisheries policy advisor to the government of the Marshall Islands. She was personally hated whaling and said her country very much didn't want to vote for commercial whaling. But she said quite plainly that the reason that they did was because of the huge amounts of aid that they get from Japan.
How does Japan link the aid to the vote on whaling?
I just think that our governments just feel the obligation to support them because they indirectly link it.
But while offers of millions in aid may imply a pressure on nations, delivery of cash in envelopes to officials and all expenses paid trips to Japan are a far more personal way of cultivating influence.
This is Jeffrey Nanyaro, who's the IWC Commissioner for Tanzania. He went on to tell us about how Japan, once you were on their side, kept you on their side by taking you on trips to Japan where you would go to 5-star hotels, you'd be given first-class flights, and you'd also have prostitutes provided at your hotel for you.
He, of course, said he didn't partake in this himself.
Yes, he said he didn't do it himself, but he had been offered it.
Yes, there are these girls,
Which Japan?
When you are in your hotel, because even me, once in your room, somebody will phone you,
Really?
Yes.
And they start by saying that, you know, do you want massaging? No, free. It's going to be free massaging, you know. Are you not lonely and all that? You don't want any comfort and all that, yeah? It is such a language, yeah?
Has that happened to you?
Many times.
The Japanese Foreign Ministry, the Gaima Show, has absolutely, categorically denied all of these accusations.
I think it's very much up to the member countries of the IWC now to take it up at the main meeting next week and raise these issues, because they're quite serious. That if Japan is buying the votes of other countries, how can this organisation continue to exist?
And yet I suppose Japan may say, well, look, that's just aid. We give aid to lots of countries. It's not tied aid. It's up to those countries to decide who they support.
Yes, well, it's also cash in brown paper envelopes as well.